everyone. So happy to have everyone here with me today, and I'm glad that you guys are progressing through the lessons and are you've learned so much, and I'm very excited to see what you guys continue to learn and what you come up with in terms of your 3D designs. So, with that being said, let's just quickly go over the code of collaboration. One mic, leadership, respect for all, and permitted items only. Thank you for continuing to honor this. And let's look at the learning objectives. So today I will learn how to modify shapes on Tinkercad so that I can learn how to create my own 3D shapes. I know I have it when I create two puzzle pieces that connect with a design, and I have to edit the text there, but we're just gonna move on. Um, so let me just quickly show you the end result. So the idea is that we're going to create two puzzle pieces, so when we bring it together they connect, and then the next lesson we'll add some designs over it, but this is the idea, right? And so with that said, let's create a new one from scratch. We're going to go over to create, and we're going to create a 3D design. So the very first thing we're going to do is that if you notice what's here written on the bottom right corner, it says millimeters, right? The bottom right corner of the work plane. What we want to do is change this over to inches, so like that we understand that we can also change the units of measure. And this is important when we're trying to measure certain things, or create something of a certain size. So we're going to set it as inches, okay? And as you can see, that updated there as well. So after we've done that, what we have to do is bring over two of these boxes. Now the first box we're gonna change keep as red, and the second one we're gonna change it into a green. And again, you could choose any colors you like. We're gonna resize this to be 2 inches by 2 inches, and then the height will be 0.5. In other words, it'll be half an inch tall. We're going to do the same thing for this one. 2 by 2, and then 0.5. Fantastic. So we have both of our puzzle pieces here, or two boxes for now. So the next thing we're gonna do is bring over this cylinder here, and actually let me just bring it over to the work plane before I decide to connect it to the piece. And then I'm also going to bring this over, and let me get a better view. It's pretty good. So I'm just going to change this to 0.5 so it matches the height, and as you can see, it's coming along nicely. Now I'm going to select both shapes, and the purpose of this is that we're going to use the align tool to help us align it to the center. And I'm actually going to also bring the cylinder a bit more into the box so that it's kind of like halfway out, and that's exactly what I want, right? And it's always good as you're working on these designs to get a good view, a 360 view of what you're doing, because if you're only looking at it from one angle, you're unable to see if you're making mistakes from a different angle, right? So that looks pretty good, and what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to do a union group, which is going to combine those two shapes into one. Fantastic. So I have this here now. What I'm going to do is select it by clicking on it, do a Command C to copy, Command V to paste, and it allowed me to create a different shape. What I'm going to do with this piece now is select it, click on whole, and this is going to allow me to remove a piece from the green when I join them together. So as you can see, I want to make that cutout there so that this piece, when printed or even in the design stage here, I can connect them together. So I'm going to select these two pieces, going to do a union group, and as you can see, I just cut out that piece. So whenever you want to make your own designs, any shapes, you can definitely create it by combining two shapes, or if you want to cut out a piece of of that shape, you can use the whole feature just like we did to remove that part. Now, as you can see, this joins together perfectly. Well done. Um, Feel free to use your creativity to, instead of having maybe one cylinder, you can have two cylinders, one up here, down here, and then also make the cutouts there, or possibly even use different shapes to create the cutouts. But nonetheless, I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. And the next lesson will create a design over these so that we know how these, it'll be clear to the user or whoever's using the pieces how to connect them. Thank you so much.